Hello, hello. It's Business Partner. Unit 3, Lesson 4, Part B. Business Skills. Interviews. Last video, we saw Part A of the lesson. And we saw Max and John trying to get a job in a company. And they answered well or not. They had basically the same limitations, basic conditions, but John answered very well. Do you remember that? And we are talking about some aspects of answering questions during interview. In this video today, we'll see the functional language in more details. We'll see how to answer and how to ask questions to interviewers when we are in the position of an interviewee. And this is very good for interviewers as well, because we can learn more and more how to interview people for a job position. Let's start then with exercise 5. We have these sentences here, and we can refer to the audio script on page 147. I'll do a bit better. I'm going to play again the audio, and then we can remember. But let's just take a look. We have 4 categories here. Complete the phrases from the recording in exercise 3A. Use the audio script on page 147 to help you. Beginning the interview. What can you say? Thank you for your time today. And okay, the interviewer can do that, can say that. But the interviewee can also do that, because the interviewer is spending time with you, giving you attention. That's really good for you, especially if you get the job, right? Then, dealing with questions. If the interviewer asks you a question, you can say, that's good, that's a good, it's good, you. And if you don't remember, we are going to see from the audio last video, and I'm going to play for you. Asking questions about the role and organization. Could you tell me what a normal blah? Do you remember this question? And in the interview. So what are the next? And when can I expect from or to? And so on. Let me go and play the audio again, and you can remember that.
Unit 3, Recording 4. Interview 1. Max.
Thanks for coming in today, Max. So tell me, why do you think you're the right person for this job?
Well, I'm hard-working, I'm flexible, I'm good at working with colleagues and customers, and I have the relevant experience and skills.
OK, that all sounds good. Have you ever worked in a regional sales team?
No, I haven't.
Oh, OK. Do you have a driving licence?
Not yet.
I see. If you get this job, you will need to have a driving licence. So, you've told me about your strengths and experience. Can you tell me about your weaknesses?
Well, I'm not very organised, like with paperwork and other things.
I see.
So what are the next steps? When can I expect to hear from you?
Interview 2. John.
Thank you for coming in today, John. I invited you here because Anna has told me a lot about you and your abilities.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for your time today.
Of course. So tell me, why do you think you're the right person for this job?
Well, I'm hardworking, I'm flexible, I'm good at working with both colleagues and customers, and I have the relevant experience and skills.
OK, that all sounds good. Have you ever worked in a regional sales team?
Oh, that's a good question. I haven't, but I do have many transferable skills. I've worked in different local offices of the same company, so I understand the balance between local and regional priorities. So, while my experience is local, I have a good awareness of the sales focus from regional perspectives too. I've also indirectly supported a regional project with local information.
That's good. Anna told me about the project you worked on. So, moving on, do you have a driving licence?
It's good you asked that. I'm currently learning to drive, and I have my test in 2 weeks' time.
OK, that's good. If you get this job, you will need to have a driving licence. Now, you've told me about your strengths and experience. Can you tell me about your weaknesses?
Well, I'm very good at dealing with people, which, as you know, is essential in sales. But I sometimes struggle with the administrative work and paperwork. I am aware of this, though, and I'm working on it so that I can improve.
OK, it's good that you're working on this. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I do. Could you tell me what a normal day or week in this job would be like?
Sure. It would start at about 8 o'clock, and initially what you'll be doing is filling out...
Ah, all right. So, that was the conversation between the interviewer and Max and John. So, do you remember dealing with questions? That's a good question. Why don't you pause and you can go and refer to the audio script and to the audio to complete the other sentences. If you did that, let's move on. It's good you asked that. It's a very nice way to start your answer. Very nice. Asking questions about the role and organization. Could you tell me what a normal day or week in this job would be like? And you see, you have plenty of space here to write. Day or week in this job would be like. Microfilm. Ending the interview. So what are the next steps? You remember that? I think it's Max who asks that. He thinks he got the job. He's so secure of himself. When can I expect to hear from you? You want to go on, to move on, and then you are curious about that. How long it will take for them to contact you. The second part is very good because it isn't connected to the recording, but the sentences are connected to these categories. Beginning the interview, dealing with questions, asking questions about the role and organization, and ending the interview. The point is that you should pause the video and try to do that. You should try to match the sentences with the categories. For example, we have here number 1. Could you tell me more about the mentoring program? Could you tell me more about the role I'm applying for? Could you tell me more about the canteen? It's better not to ask that. It's A, B, C, or D. It's C, right? Asking questions about the role and organization. Why don't you pause the video, try to do the other ones, and then you play to see the answers. Look at 2. Can I speak to some of the people I would be working with? Oh, that's also about letter C, right? Because it's about the role you would be doing. I'm looking forward to talking to you about this role. which one? You could say it's letter C, but why not letter A, beginning the interview? Because you are there to talk about the role you are applying for. And remember, these sentences are about the interviewee, the person who's being interviewed. 4. There are 2 ways to answer your question. How do you like that? There are 2 ways to answer your question. I would say it's B, dealing with questions, right? 5. I look forward to hearing from you. It's ending the interview because you want to continue the process. You want to be hired by the company. So you look forward, you are excited, you're interested about hearing from the company. 6. I haven't had that exact experience. However, and this is dealing with questions again, right? Remember, John didn't have exactly the experience of working in regional sales, but he had something positive to say. However, I supported locally a regional project. He said something like that, and that was a very good answer if he didn't have the exact experience wanted. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me today. Number 7, right? And this is letter D, ending the interview. In the beginning, thank you for your time today. In the end, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me today. Very nice, very polite. You are showing qualities if you say that. And it's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you is letter A, right? Beginning the interview. I really liked this exercise because there will be situations in which you can use all these sentences. And as you know, you can use them and they show politeness and interest in the job. But we have more. We have now this extra activity. We have these questions. Why are you leaving your current job? And you have 3 options. Which is the best one? For example, I don't like my manager. Remember, we shouldn't criticize the previous job, the previous boss, and so on. The work is too hard. Oh, don't answer that. I'm looking for something more challenging. I feel it's time for working on my career and developing some other skills. There are many things that you can answer. What are your weaknesses? I'm a perfectionist. I work too hard. I get nervous speaking in front of groups of people. You have to be sincere, but this is the best one. If it's true for you, please don't answer letter B, okay? Why not? Because it sounds false. It's not a weakness. It's something very positive if you work hard. Right? 3. Where do you expect to be in 5 years' time? This is a classic one, right? I'd like to be the head of the department. I'd like to have your job. Oh, no, don't answer that. I'd like to be succeeding in this company and continuing to develop. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice answer, right? And I hope to own my own company. Oh, so you want to leave the job or to buy this company? please. And we have 4. How many hours a week do you usually work? I try to work efficiently, complete my duties, and meet my targets while keeping a healthy work-life balance. I always work overtime. People who don't aren't working hard enough. Does the company have to pay you overtime? Do you really think the company likes to pay more? Well, how many are in the contract? Do you think this is polite? I would go with number or letter A. Let's check. Ta-da! So these are ideas, okay, on how to answer. Are you willing to travel in the job? Yes, as much as you need me to. Could you tell me more about what the expectations are? I don't really like traveling, but I will if I have to. Which one do you think? Yes, I love traveling by plane, eating and staying in hotels. Is that okay? Or don't you think that this one is better, especially if you have family? Especially if you have family. Do you prefer to work in a team or alone? Tricky, right? I don't like to be alone. I like to talk to colleagues, especially at coffee time. That can be like half hour. Do you really think that's a good answer? I like mixing with colleagues and get my job done better if I'm alone. And I'm comfortable in both environments. Team or alone, and you show that you can work in different situations according to the necessity. Tell me about a difficult time in a past job and how you overcame it. Oh, that boss was terrible. Don't say that. I'd rather not talk about it. It was a very difficult time for me. Go to a psychologist. I used my past experience to overcome the difficulties and also asked colleagues for help. I haven't had any. Oh, is it your first job then? Look, this one is very good and mature. If you have difficult times, try to overcome the difficulties and ask your colleagues for help. Maybe you can ask a close friend who has experience in that area on how to deal with that difficult time. Well, these are some questions. Look how many questions we are working with. Very nice. I really like these exercises. Well. Choose the questions that are good to ask in your first interview. Now it's about you. You asking questions to the interviewer. Oh, which are good ones? How is success in this role measured? How many pieces you assemble? How many contracts you close? The money in the contracts? The relationships you develop? How is it successful? How is it measured? How much is the salary? Not a very good question, is it? What training do you offer? Because you want to do the job well. Is there free coffee? Oh, that's a very good question. If you want to keep unemployed. When can I go home every day? Strange, right? Do you have any concerns about my experience or qualifications? Wow, what do you think of this one? And can I get a company car? Oh yes, a McLaren, a Jaguar, a BMW. Which one do you prefer? You really don't. If the person asks that one, the person really doesn't want the job, right? So from D to G, which is the last question you could ask? I think that letter F is perfect. And here, look, we have these questions or these sentences. We have these sentence halves to make useful phrases for interviews. And we'll have some more 5 sentences, okay? Look here, we have to answer your question, good question, a typical working day, talking to you about this job, your time. Thank you for, I'm interested in, that's, there are 2 ways. Could you tell me more about, oh come on, we have already seen these sentences, so it's really easy, right? So, why don't you pause, try to do the sentences, and we see the answers afterwards. Look, thank you for your time. I'm interested in talking to you about this job. That's a good question. There are 2 ways to answer your question. And let me see, number 5 is the hardest one. Could you tell me more about a typical working day? Ta-da! And the last 5 ones, let's see. We have here, expect to hear from you. Next steps, to hearing from you. Of the people I would be working with. Normal week in the job is like. Could you tell me what, can I speak to some? I look forward. When can I? So what are the? And again, why don't you pause, try to answer, and then you see the answers. Look, number 6. Could you tell me what a normal day, normal week in this job is like? J. Can I speak to some of the people I would be working with? I look forward to hearing from you. Do you know this expression? I look forward, I'm excited. I really expect something, and I'm anxious positively about that. And you use I'm looking forward to and ing. You can use in formal environments or informal environments. Where can I expect to hear from you? And so what are the next steps? This is it, right? Really nice extra exercise, extra activity. And then we have this practical exercise, this task. What is it about? We have again a job interview, but now we have the information below to create a job that you will interview each other for, like 2 students, the pair. Alternatively, use one of the job advertisements on this page. Well, I'm going to show you how we are going to do that, and in using this approach and the other approach. Here, oh no, sorry, we have these jobs, these two jobs. You could choose one of them for one to be the interviewer and the other one to be the interviewee, right? The first job is marketing executive. Role description: managing the company's social media strategy. Wow, very good job. Necessary skills: strong digital skills and ability to work independently and spontaneously. Qualifications: relevant marketing certificate or degree. Salary: 17,000 to 22,000 pounds, depending on experience. And project planning coordinator. The role description: supporting the product design project team. Necessary skills: good organizational and communication skills. Office and the qualifications: office administration and technical qualification will be a benefit. Technical, you see? Technical. The salary is from 24 to 28,000 euros. Here was pounds and here is euros. What would you prefer to earn? Pounds or euros? But we had these two jobs we could work with, or we could invent another one. A local company is recruiting for a specific role. Decide on the job title and role description, the necessary skills, the necessary qualifications, and details of the salary, just like here. Okay? We could create another job. But how to work on the job interview? We will decide on who will be the interviewer, who will be the interviewee, and we have the role cards. The interviewer turns to page 126. I'll show you. I have it here. The interviewer will work with this, and the interviewee will work with this part here, right? But this is what we are going to do in the live lesson. And when you're ready, role play the interview. Well, what do we have to do here is to interview and answer to questions. Make notes during the interview and give each other feedback so that you can improve each time you practice. After having the interview, we should discuss how we felt, how we were answered very well, our mistakes and differences. But let's do this positively to encourage the other one and to help being better, not discouraged to face a job interview, right? And the second part, reflect on what went well, what didn't go well, and how you can improve next time. And then change roles and role play the interview again with the same job or a different one. Because then the interviewer will be the interviewee and so on, and vice versa, right? And this is the lesson. It will be lots of fun. I hope I see you soon. Bye-bye.